Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to a GBHL James hobby vlog bringing you the Iron Hills Dwarf Army. That's right, but not what we're looking forward to, of course, later this year in 28mm scale. This is the Iron Hills Dwarf Army for the 10mm Battle of Five Armies game that was brought out by Games Workshop a few years ago. I think it was 2005 this game was brought out. Now you will have seen, well hopefully you will have seen an unboxing we did going through all of the contents of this amazing box set which I did with GBHL Jamie a while ago, and I've been meaning to get this painted up so that we could do it for a Let's Try It Tuesday here on the GBHL podcast, but it's been one of those which has just sort of stayed in its box and looked like I was never ever going to get round to it, and I've just had a couple of days off now. I've just been chilling out with Jane and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give that a go. So I have actually painted the Iron Hills Contingent. Now the box set does comes with all of the elves. You've got the Elf King, of course, you've got Thranduil, you've got Bayon the Bear, which actually I have started to paint up over on the left hand side, which I'll show you in a second. You also get Thorim, and next to him Feely and Keely, and you've also got Dane and Bodyguard, which you'll see on the right hand side of the banner. Now I've not actually finished painting the heroes, and I am actually looking to sort of do maybe a bit of a snow flock base on these Iron Hills dwarves, and I've tried actually to keep them quite close to the movie aesthetic with the reds and the silvers and the like. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to show you some of these Iron Hills dwarves. Now hopefully they come up all right. So we're just going to come here straight into the battle line. Now this game plays very much like War Master. War Master is a game that I've not played before, but I have had a good look through the rule book. Seems reasonably complicated, I have to say, the rule book, but I'm pretty sure that once you start playing it's really interesting. It looks very, very tactical and good fun. So here you go, here are my Iron Hills dwarves, part of the box set. I'll just give a little bit of a twizzle around and let's have a little bit of a look down the line. You can see there with the banners that is going to be Dane and his bodyguard, but I've not quite decided what to paint on their banners yet, and I want to spend a little bit more time on those. Now I have actually put something up on the Facebook page saying that I was going to be doing these, and I got a couple of really interesting comments, one of which was one that I was really interested about myself before I started painting them, and that was, you know, is it really, really hard to paint miniatures at this scale? And I have to say I have found it much easier and very, very, very therapeutic. There you go, on the end you can see Thorin, Feely and Keely, and again I am going to try and paint up so that they match as much of the movie aesthetic as possible. So if I zoom in on one of these little units here, so you get two lines, there we go, and that's probably all. If we come back away a little bit, there we go. So actually, as you can see, I mean, I remember when I unboxed them I was mega surprised that with a 10mm model, just sort of how much detail they seem to have, and that really helped with the painting. Now somebody did ask, you know, has it been more difficult to paint, and I have to say absolutely not. Like I said that before, it's quite a therapeutic experience painting them because it's all a little bit further away, it's a little bit more abstract, you're not having to do as many highlights to sort of catch the detail and the like, but I did go through all of those processes. So what I did first of all was I undercoated them with black, and then once I did that I dry brushed them with lead belcher. I dry brushed them with lead belcher. Now I dry brushed them again with iron breaker, so a bit sharper, and then I also then got my rune fang steel and went around the edges just like you would do with metal on a 28mm model. Now maybe I didn't have to do all of that, but I wanted these guys to look quite good. And the next step, once I had done that, I decided to go onto the shields. So the shields were a 50-50 Doomball brown and corn red, which I just painted on, and then I literally just went around the edges of those shields with corn red again. So I didn't do sort of a massive highlight, because again I wanted to pick up that kind of dark red shield aesthetic that you see in the actual Hobbit, the Battle of Five Armies movies, and what we've got to expect of course with 28mm range later on this year. And of course, I wasn't going to get it completely down to a T, but we nearly got there. Then next step for me after that, I got Mournfang Brown, and with the Mournfang Brown I did all of the shafts, which I actually highlighted with Steel Legion Drab. Fairly medium down, but just to sort of strip down it to create that kind of wood effect. I then got the Doomball Brown, and with the Doomball Brown I did the belt buckles, the satchels, and also did all of their beards. I even went as far as Agrax Earthshade the beards, and then as you can see with some of them I left quite dark, and then others I went over with a Jakero orange. So you've really got that kind of Dane-esque look to all of them. And then in terms of the basing, I based them exactly the same as I have done with the 28mm models. Now, I have, like I say, really enjoyed painting these guys. I think the idea that you've almost sort of painted an army, I know that this isn't obviously the full good army for Battle of 5 armies, but the fact that it does feel like very quickly, I mean this is 2 days work really. But the fact that it feels very quickly like you have painted yourself an army is quite satisfying, and I've really enjoyed that. Now what I think I'm going to probably do is do a little bit of kind of like a slow grow campaign. So now that I've painted up, or nearly painted up, what I consider to be the Iron Hills contingent, I'm not gonna paint everything in the box and suddenly start playing the full-scale Battle of 5 Armies games. I think I'd like to learn the mechanics. So once I'm completely happy with these, I am then going to move on to painting. If I move these in here, I'm going to start painting the wargs. Okay, so I'm going to start painting the wargs, and also there is a warg rider chieftain in there, which I'm actually going to paint up like Azog from the movie. So he's going to have a white warg, and he's going to be a pale orc. So I'm going to try and make him as much like the movie aesthetic as possible. The reason why I'm going to focus on doing the wargs next is because they're going to be a bit easier to paint. They're going to be pretty much a dry brushing job, and then I'll have 2 small parts of forces which I can sort of face up, and we can build up in a bit of a slow grow campaign to learn how to play the game. Now we'll probably still do a Let's Try Tuesday showing off this game, but what I will do, as I have done with a lot of my battle report content, is I'll probably make these battle reports and do a bit of a campaign over on Hotgates Gaming. Of course, that's the channel where you can support me making YouTube content, so if you do like the content that I do produce, get yourself over there, check it out, and go and check out the Patreon. And even if you back in $1 a day, it helps me be able to take time out to do stuff like this. Now I couldn't help myself when I was waiting for my dwarves to make some progress with them. I couldn't help myself but to make a start with Bayorn, who I pretty much finished, I think, apart from the base. So I painted him exactly how I painted Big Bayorn, and I painted Big Bayorn by painting base coat black. I then took Towlight Ochre and mixed that 50-50 with the black and dry brushed that, and then a little bit more Towlight Ochre with his claws. You've got Talon Sand, then a Sharpty Bone towards the end, and then a little bit of white, same with his teeth and his claws. Doomball Brown eyes with a little bit of a white dot, and then Corn Red and Mephiston Red on his teeth there. And I'm really happy with how he's turned out, because he's not massively dissimilar from what I've gone for with the big normal Bayorn. So there you go, that's my progress. My battery pack is about to run out any second, so I guess I should sign off. But a bit of a hobby vlog from me. Your future hobby vlogs from me, I have filmed another one where I've been doing the Saga minis and also some of the Man of Warships, but I've not really made enough progress with that to put it up as a hobby vlog. I've also been doing some Rohan Royal Guard, which I'll show you perhaps next week, as well as any progress that I make on these guys. And I will have to get some more Rivendell Knights done for the Nova Open, so maybe we'll show you some of that. So guys, don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe. Support your Hobbit host by checking the links in the video description below. Make sure you check out our Facebook and our Twitter. As ever, support your Hobbit hobby, guys, and happy strategy battle gaming.